I like, what if like shaving my head was like life changing? Ah, it would be like, it just feels so scary.
Yeah, like
Like,
it is life changing in a sense, I mean, obviously physically it's changing, but yeah, like in some regards it is life changing. Like maybe not to the extent that you'd kill it. You'd kill it. Hey, the
I don't
craziest
know.
part is that I picked up my girlfriend with my bald head.
Really? I've heard
I
that like
started dating her
sometimes,
when I was bald.
wow. I've heard that some women like bald heads.
You are listening to the Boundless Enigma podcast with Sam Zins
And Ryan Mulkentine. On this podcast, we dive into the mind, reality, and existence itself to provide you with boundless ideas and insights. Welcome back to the Boundless Enigma podcast.
Oh yeah.
We were just talking about moving and living alone soon. Well, not alone, but having your own room away from your parents.
Yeah, it's definitely a big change in life when you gotta branch off and move on from being taken care of in different ways. Obviously, everybody has different things that they get taken care of by parents or
Mm-hmm.
loved ones, but definitely gonna be a lot of learning to be going on. What's some stuff
Yeah.
that you've learned?
Living alone or like
Mm-hmm.
living like away from my parents.
Yeah, I guess, I guess in general, but also I guess you could add on to the fact that you're, hours away from your parents.
Hmm. Well, let's see. I'm a junior now in college, and the first time I lived alone was my freshman year because I moved from Cincinnati to Chicago. But it was during like the heat of the pandemic, so the dorms were closed. So I had to get my own apartment up in Chicago.
Mm.
And I had my own room. I had a roommate, and yeah, there was a lot of learning to be done. There's a lot of like just mistakes and really fun times. Like I remember everything was so new. Like living on my own, like I could do whatever I wanted. Like I would like I would like take bong rips in my own apartment, and no one could stop me. you know,
Yeah, that's
back
definitely a change.
back when I was like into smoking weed a lot, which I've toned down. I don't really much at all anymore. I do occasionally, but
Yeah.
back then my roommate was a big stoner, so we would smoke like I don't know a couple times a week. But it didn't matter. We'd have like a case of beer around,
Uh-huh.
freshman year.
That's pretty savage.
Yeah, but I got in trouble. I got in trouble with my school for throwing a party during COVID. Made a mistake there. Just like made a lot of like learning mistakes with like dating and girls and stuff. I mean, this is just like overall like learning as a freshman. But I guess living alone. Shoot, you know what? Like living alone, you don't really have anyone to like coddle you anymore. Like I remember in high school, it's like you have a breakdown, you cry and like your mom is there and you go and like talk to her and she can comfort you. But when you're living on your own, that's like you got to deal with your own demons. You got to start
Yeah.
like you got to sit with yourself alone way more often than when you were at home.
Well, yeah, that's a super good point. You're definitely not having, the people who you've lived with your entire life and who've taken care of you emotionally your
Mm-hmm.
entire life, like not having that around all of a sudden, definitely like I can see how that would be a major, major change. I guess you either, I guess it takes a few times or however long it takes you to learn of just like messing up and just going down these darker paths and whatnot to kind of learn that, oh, okay, like I kind of have to figure this out if I want to be productive and live a happy life, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the people around me that I've always had my entire life. So,
I think like living alone gives you a lot more alone time. Um, Which I mean, like, I'm sure you have a lot of alone time now. Like, you have like tons of alone time probably.
Yeah,
But like,
it's like a different
honestly, I don't
feeling.
know. I mean, what do you think? Like, what do you think about like how much alone time you have now versus like? I mean, you only live like it's just like one of your parents would be around usually, right?
Yeah, like at
Right
some
now.
point or another. Right now, I mean, my mom and I have different work hours, but we still definitely see each other throughout the week, off and on. Um, so I guess I do have a lot of alone time, but I feel like there's this thing that might change when I move out about alone time, and that being, right now my alone time is at my mom's house, and I'm familiar with it. I know that she lives here too. I have my cats with me. Like it's a comforting area, and moving out is going to be providing me with a new area to get comfortable with and kind of learn about, and two roommates to deal with. And I don't mean to put it that way, because like I'm not like, oh, I gotta deal with them, but like learn
Right.
to, yeah, you never know, that's true, but hopefully not.
Yeah.
But two people to learn, and kind of just learn how to function in a new environment, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely going to push you out of your comfort zone just because it is something so new. And actually, I learned this the other day that moving is the third most stressful event that you can have in your life. It's like
Really?
if like measured like stress response, it's like moving is the third highest, most stressful event.
Wow.
And who knows what that will stir up? It's like when you're
Mhm.
at your most stressed peaks, like your demons can come out. Maybe you'll be grumpy or something and be mean to people, and you're like, ah, crap, I didn't realize that was in there. Jeez.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
That's stuff that you can't even, I feel like you can't even calculate, like you can't be thinking about this ahead of time and get it all completely correct in terms of noticing what's going to happen and how you're going to feel and what's going to occur after you move.
yeah,
But that's stuff that, like you just said, like is a very stressful time. So you're going to be hit with some things at some point, I'm sure. And, that's definitely something that I'll be aware of, or attempt to be aware of. But, I think, like I was just telling you before we started this podcast, I have about like 5 months before I move. So I kind of look to kind of cherish the time that I have right now with my parents,
yeah,
and try to enjoy it, I guess, and try to
yeah.
come to terms with the fact that I'm moving and won't be with them anymore.
Is it? Sorry, I don't know why I thought like when you said like won't be with them anymore, I was thinking like they're dying or something. But I mean that's not funny. But for some reason in my mind it made me laugh.
Well, they are
I don't
dying,
know.
but they're not like actually dying,
Oh, true. I mean, it's a good point. Damn, we're all dying,
Yeah.
but they're not dying like
Yeah.
tomorrow that we know of.
Yeah, they're not in critical condition or anything like that.
But what are you like looking forward to about moving?
I, that's a good question. I feel like I'm looking forward to um, learning the responsibilities that I haven't learned yet. Um, and I I look forward to it, and I also don't look forward to it, because I know it's going to be hard and a lot to take in at once almost. Um, but at the same time, I know these are things that will be valuable later in my life, and moving forward, to know how to do. I got to learn how to take care of a house better. Like take care of uh, other people who I'm living with. Got to take care of doing dishes like more often. I mean,
Yeah.
and just dealing with all kinds of things that come along with it. There's all kinds of stuff. Like obviously, I do dishes now. I clean the house now, but I feel like once I get my my own place, it becomes a new form of taking care of it. Because I feel like I put value on cleanliness, but once I get my own place, I think that I'm going to be more cleanly than I am even right now.
Now like it falls under like your responsibility. It's like
Yeah.
right now it's like your mom's house. Yeah, it's nice to be respectful to her and like clean the dishes, and I like being clean. But when
Yeah.
it's your house, it's like, well, this is my place. I want to be respectful to the place, and now it's like your dishes in your place. It's just
Mhm.
like there's more ownership there. There's more. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I don't know how profound that would really be, but I feel like they're like that sense of ownership probably does like affect your mindset.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. That sense of ownership is exactly what I was trying to say before, and that's just something that right now, obviously, like you said, I want to take care of the house and be respectful to my mom and whatnot. But I feel like there's just this like next level that comes with having your own place, and I think that kind of living with your parents or whomever throughout your whole life kind of sets you up for this moment. And right now, I feel set up to be in a place where I want to take good care of my area and environment that I'm in. Whereas, some people maybe choose to not put as much value on that. But, the way I grew up, that's just what I value more. And so, like I said, moving out is going to be an experience when it comes to taking care of an environment.
Yeah.
Because I place a lot of value on my environment.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
21. When's your birthday?
June.
June.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Moving out 21. You're
Yeah,
adulting for real. You're for real turning into an adult.
I know, dude. It's really it's weird, because when I turned 21, I didn't feel weird or anything like that. I don't know about you. You're not 21 yet, are you?
I'm 21. I turned 21 in January.
Oh, oh. Well, happy belated birthday.
Oh, well, thank you.
I don't know birthdays very well, but
No, I don't care
yeah,
about
no, that's fine.
you know.
I figured you
But
would.
my girlfriend turned 22, 4 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and that's weird. Like I don't know why, but 22 feels like way older than 21.
Yeah, because like 21 feels like this like childish number, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I can buy alcohol now or whatever.
Yeah.
But like
It's like,
22 is like,
yeah, you're legally an adult, but you're still like, it's still kind of a joke. And
yeah,
22, you're like, oh shit, you're actually maybe an adult now.
yeah, you're like nearing like more adultness. Like it
Yeah,
feels like you made it past kind of like the early years in a sense. Yeah, that is
true.
weird. 22 is a weird number. I never thought about that, but
I mean, I wonder like how our parents felt. Like, how do our parents feel right now? Like,
yeah,
when they started adulting, like, they went through all of this stuff.
yeah,
And I wonder if they still feel young and like they still feel like they're just their individual selves doing their thing. And now, what would it feel like to have a kid? That would be weird.
dude, that would be
Like,
so weird.
that's something I can't imagine.
Yeah, dude, me neither. One of my coworkers is pregnant right now, and she's like gonna have her baby in like a month or so, and she's
Gosh.
like less than a year older than me, and
Oh my gosh.
I know, and I was asking her the other day. I was like, are you excited about having your baby? Like what are your emotions? Like what are you feeling? And she's like, yeah, I'm really excited about it. That's about all I'm feeling. Like I'm just really excited, and I was like, I guess when you have it, you like why not be excited about it? If you plan to keep it,
True.
you know.
True. To me, it just feels like a fantasy, like a fairy tale. Like I hear about like, oh, like people can get pregnant, but I'll never have. Like it just feels like so distant. Like I can't imagine me actually having one though. Like you having one. Honestly, that feels weird too. I don't know, but
Yeah.
like my sister having a baby, I could see that. But like me, for some reason, it's just like having a baby is like an other thing. I categorize it as like the NPCs of the world that don't really exist and aren't real human beings. They have babies, but I'm a real human being, and so I don't have a baby. Like
Yeah,
I don't
like
know why.
it's not in my realm of possibilities right now. Like,
Exactly. It feels so out there.
yeah, man. I've thought about that because obviously, there's always chances that you could have a baby if you're, sexually active. And
True.
so obviously you have to be prepared in some capacity for it. And, I've gave it like minor thought, and goodness, dude, the responsibility of raising a child is just, man, I'm not ready for it.
Yeah. I mean, up until the age of like 5 or 4, like you do this kid is absolutely helpless,
Yeah.
and you have to feed them. You have to change them, wash them, make sure like they're not falling off cliffs and whatever.
Yeah.
Like you got to watch them almost all the time until they start like walking around, and you can maybe leave them for a minute or two to go do something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That would just like, it would suck up so much like mental resources. Like that is something that I think would almost screw me over in like my pursuit of like attaining financial, like, what's it called? Financial freedom, and like creating like a something. I don't know. It would take so much energy. Like I just need to have that be a later phase of my adulthood, you know?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Like, it's just so much because think about what we're experiencing right now. We're lost in our own ways, and trying to teach a newborn the correct ways to do things, or in our eyes, the correct way of doing things. Like, man, we don't even have a lot of shit figured out right now. Like, that's just.
I know.
I can't fathom how I would be able to do it. Obviously, if it were to happen, I would have to. I'd conform to it. But man, right now I just can't even imagine.
Well, think about how many people. I mean, we're actively working on ourselves. You know, think about the millions, billions of people that are just they don't know what self work is. They don't know what self development is. They don't even pursue any sort of spirituality or anything like. And they have kids, and they are smoking meth, and the kids grow up and they are people as well. It's like, what the heck? How? And I'm scared of how I would have a kid turn out.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. It's just like, I don't really know the point I'm trying to make with that, but for some reason it just feels like how is the world not more fucked up?
Dude, I know that's what it feels like, because it's like, I feel like parents nowadays, I obviously, as we've just been saying, parenting is clearly not an easy task by any measure, but I feel like parents nowadays, I see so many of them just doing so many things where, like, I would be like, man, like, I don't know if I would, do this in front of my kid, or say this in front of my kid, or something like that, or say this to my kid, like out in public. I swear I always see people like yelling at their kids and whatnot, and it's just like, to me, what I see is problems coming in the future in terms of how they handle things. And, obviously, like I said, who am I to tell somebody how to parent their kid? But
True.
That's just something that I thought about in terms of, if I had a kid, like, man, it would be hard, like, there are times, I'm sure, where you can feel really heated and want to yell at your child because, they're doing something that is annoying
you. Screwing around.
And you want to be doing your own thing, you want to be watching the football game instead of like taking care of diapers or something like that,
Yeah.
So it kind of puts into
have you ever imagined like what you'd look like bald?
I have. I've gone bald.
You've gone bald?
Yeah, like okay, almost bald. Like, I had like that much hair. Like, I did it like a year and a half ago.
Dang. I feel like that is like an attachment that I have, is like to my hair. Like, I don't know. Like, one day I'm gonna lose too much and I'm gonna have to just like shave it.
Yeah. In a sense, I was kind of thinking like that. Like, so I was playing a lot of basketball at the time, and my hair just kept getting in the way, and I was just like, you know what, my hair grows so quick, and I don't really care. I just kind of want to see what it looks like and feel it, And so I literally, like, my dad had a little like razor thing, and I just did it all, and
Dang.
it actually was pretty freeing.
It was?
Yeah. It's like, it's odd but freeing.
Dang. I know like some like Buddhist monks like are required to like shave all their hair, like their hair, like their head hair, their eyebrows, like beard, and they have to go like totally clean shaven. But dang, I wonder, it's like facing that fear and then like having that faced fear on your physical form for like a month straight is probably a really good thing for your psyche.
Yeah, because you're like getting out of your comfort zone with it,
And you're taking away the power that like the fear had.
Yeah, yeah. Because like we think about our every move in everyday life when we're around people, especially, and we want to look a certain way. But when you shave off your hair, you have no choice but to feel that way, you know, and not feel that way, but you have no choice. That's the way you are. You know, you can't push it a certain way. You can't do any of it. Like
Right.
it just is how it is. So
Yeah.
it's nice, and it's nice in that sense.
Dang. What if like shaving my head was like life changing? It would be like, it just feels so scary.
Yeah, you know, like
Like,
it is life changing in a sense, you know. I mean, obviously physically it's changing, but yeah, like in some regards it is life changing. Like maybe not to the extent that you'd kill it. You'd kill it. Hey, you know the
I don't
craziest
know.
part is that I picked up my girlfriend with my bald head.
Really? I've heard
I
that like
started dating her
sometimes.
when I was bald.
Wow. I've heard that some women like bald heads.
No,
There's like
granted,
something like masculine about it.
yeah, no, that's true. Because yeah, you know, and it almost is like that. Like it almost says like, okay, like that guy doesn't care, you know, like who cares?
Yeah. It's like he doesn't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah,
watch out.
yeah.
Kind of thing.
That's kind of how I
But
felt too,
also,
like oddly,
yeah, like it felt like, do you feel badass?
like maybe not badass, but like I didn't give a fuck. Like I like I just didn't
Hmm.
care. Like I said, I didn't care what people thought about it because it was how it was. You know, there was no changing it, so I had to just go with
Dang. I kind of like have a slight desire to like do that now.
it. Hey, you should if you have the desire.
It's just like I've like only known my hair like long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Like you're comfortable with that.
maybe that attachment is the reason. Maybe that attachment is a good sign that I should.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
Oh my gosh.
it's kind of weird because like you wouldn't imagine changing your hair up would cause like this
Yeah.
disruption almost.
It's like a deadly fear. It's like just the thought of like not having hair. How is that so threatening to my ego?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like that. It literally that shows how much of like a pull it has on you. You know,
Yeah, it really does. That's crazy.
even though I did go bald and experience that, I still feel like that pull that you're feeling. You know, like I
Yeah.
just feel like maybe less. And you know, I've also done other
Right.
things. Like I got a mullet one time, and I got like the steps in
Okay.
it. You know, so
Oh, okay.
I did that for baseball because we made the playoffs. So I kind of have like
Nice.
some experience in this realm,
Yeah.
and it's different. It's different.
And you had solidarity, you
Yeah,
know? You had
yeah,
multiple people alongside you.
that's true. I did in that sense. Yeah, yeah. You know, I've done
I
something
guess.
similar to this. With my nails, I painted my nails a couple times, and that was more so a social experiment rather than the baldness, where I just was kind of just annoyed with my hair and I just wanted to just get it off.
Yeah.
But with the nails, I didn't particularly like how they looked on me or anything like that, but I wanted to just see how like comfortable or uncomfortable I would be doing it, and also how people would view me, you know, because like a lot of people, I noticed I got so many looks,
Yeah.
and not necessarily a bad thing. People maybe were looking at him like, oh, that's cool, I like his nails, but you know, it still
Right.
looks, you know, and it's dragging that attention, which feels really weird.
You know what else I thought of? I thought of just like really growing my hair out and like having like a man bun or something.
Dude, that would be sick. Can your hair
That
get
would
that
be
long?
so sick. Wouldn't that?
Yeah, does your hair get that long?
Does my hair get that long? No, it's never gotten that long.
Okay. But like, do you think it could?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I definitely, yeah. You just like don't cut it for like a year.
Dude, I don't know. Like mine just at some point, like it can get really long, but mine is pretty evenly like it evenly grows, so it doesn't really like it just stops at some point, I feel like.
It just stops? That is not how hair works. I think no, I think that like if you were to like not touch or cut your hair for like 2 years, you would have like hair past your shoulders. It's just that I think that's how it works.
Dude, I swear that I have not cut my hair for an entire year, and it was long. It was very long, but it like I said, it just evenly grows. It doesn't like it wouldn't get enough for a man bun. It just like at some point, I swear, it just stopped. It just stopped growing.
What?
Yeah, because dude, I swear to God, I wanted to try to get a man bun. I really did. Like this was like a couple years ago.
Well, I mean, my hairline's kind of receding, so maybe like, what do you think? This is how it would look if I was like pulling it back into a man bun.
No, I think that you got a good. I think you got a good forehead for a man bun, though. Let me see.
I think I need a beard if I'm gonna have like a man bun.
Yeah, dude, people with beards and man buns, that's pretty sick.
That's pretty sick.
Dude, I wanted to grow a mustache for a while, but it just like grows a little patchy. It's just not good yet. So
Yeah, I got a little bit of scruff right now. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm not gonna shave my face until next podcast, and we'll see the progress.
okay,
See where we're at.
You know what?
All right, I'm saying that's my thing for. Oh well, okay, yeah, okay. Oh shit, I gotta work on Sunday. I'm gonna look like so gross. I'll go for as long as I can.
Okay. No, it is like that though. You know, like, but this goes to show, like, I think this just teaches us how much like pull that our appearance has on our mental. You know,
or what's that what's that word? We're like a homeostasis, like human, like we have our own homeostasis of like what we get used to, and going away from that is like scary. It's like that like pull is like keeping us like in normalcy. I feel like
like and when that, you know, when you decide to like shave your head or grow it out or whatever, all of a sudden like you just feel like the equilibrium just fall off, and it, you know, because it's like you're not used to that, like you feel different in a sense.
True. Dang, man bun or shaved head?
Comment below.
Comment below if we get 100 likes on this video on YouTube or 100 listens on Spotify or Apple Music. I will shave my head.
And I will
just this podcast episode.
just this one though. Just this one. Just in case we pop off on the next one.
I'll do it. I swear. If we get 100 likes on YouTube, I will shave my head. I'll shave it.
I will too. I'm so down for that.
Yeah,
make it happen.
Damn, we should have like little incentives like that for our podcast about like when we hit this much, we'll do something like something crazy.
That's a good idea. We should do one like every podcast. We should start saying it like at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Just so like people like get it, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Should we just do it? It has to be for like individual episodes, like
yeah.
When we get sounds good.
like a different one for each episode.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. Add some excitement to it all.
Yeah.
Well, so what besides man buns and shaving our heads, do you have anything you'd like to talk about?
Anything I like to talk about?
Well, sorry for the broad question. That was
it's okay.
I don't want to get too specific or anything.
Yeah. Shoot, honestly, I mean, I'm just working on my website still, nurtureyourspirit.org. Just still working on that. I'm working on something called a lead magnet. It's like a thing that a pop up essentially on the website that when people are about to leave, like the website can detect when the cursor is about to hit the X or the back arrow, and then it pops up a pop up, and it says like, well, and it offers you something for free if you give me your email. So then I can start collecting email addresses and like have like an email list that I can market to in the future. So I'm working on something called the the spiritual reboot guide, 5 easy ways to nurture your spirit today. So it's just like a quick like 5-page 5 ways to reboot your spiritual life. And I'd offer it for free. And then you would put your email in, and then you would get sent the PDF 5 ways or whatever. I don't know how well it's going to do, but it's just something that I'm working on, and hopefully I can start getting some emails, and with the emails, I can like market new products and blog posts, like whatever's new with the website. And maybe many years from now, I can make some money by like marketing to my email list or something.
Yeah, that's
You
super
know?
cool. That's super cool that you have all that going on. And what I also think is really cool is how you have the motivation and like discipline to stick with it and keep like pushing forward and trying new things with it. You know, that
I'm
takes a
really
lot.
bad about like I'm really bad about like getting a new idea and like wanting to like invest all my energy in something new,
Mm-hmm.
because like the newness, the novelty is like more exciting than like working on something that I've already established, you know,
Yeah,
for some
yeah.
reason. But with the website, I've been like, there's like a lot of new things I can do with the website. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
It's like I can make a blog post, I can work on the design, I can work on the My Guru Spiritual Teacher Connect tool that I'm working on, and this thing. It's like there's all kinds of things that I can work on there. But like I don't know how relevant this is to the podcast. I'm sorry if this is super out of left field, but
no,
this is just that's what I'm working on. So now you know.
yeah, no, I think that's cool. And I think a way that we could even connect that to what we're talking about on this podcast is how you have noticed that you're very excited about this website because there's so many aspects to it and so many newness, aspects that you can include on
Yeah,
there. And that can relate to how we learn in daily life and in how we, choose what we want to learn, instead of just jumping onto something that, like you said, has that newness and novelty, but after a while just falls off, But something like this or your website is something that, obviously has a lot of aspects to it and is something that can keep you engaged in something that you actually want to do.
yeah. Something else I just noticed too is like as I was talking about the website, I was like getting anxious, like just
Mm.
talking about it, and I wonder if that's like bringing up like I think I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to like make this website successful or something, and I'm getting
Yeah.
like I'm getting too attached to it. I think
Yeah.
I might
Yeah.
need to like take some like it's okay to take a day off and like not worry about it, you know.
Mhm. So you think it's
But
a bad, anxious feeling?
I just like when I talk about it, I start to feel like people are like judging me, not judging, but they're judging the website. They're like, is it really good? Like,
Mhm.
and so I'm trying to like almost sell it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like anxious that like I'm not doing a good job of
Mm.
explaining what this website is about. And that I'm worried that it's too cluttered and not purposeful to one thing. Like I'm worried that it's not going to add a lot of value to people's lives because it's kind of like cluttered and they've got a lot of different things I want to work on.
Mhm.
Like I said, like the My Guru tool to connect spiritual seekers to spiritual teachers. That's one thing I wanted to do. I want it to give good knowledge about how to enrich your spiritual life. I want to lead like meditation classes online through it someday, and like I want to like meet one on one with people and discuss with them just like what's going on in their lives and like how I can help them. Like, but it's just all kind of like it's all around spirituality and enriching your spiritual life. That's the basis of it all. But I feel like I'm spreading myself really thin right now with it, and
Mhm.
I think like I need to like choose one aspect of the website to go hard on for like the next month or two.
Yeah. And That sounds like a good idea. And you could also leave yourself the freedom to choose that if, after like a couple weeks, you're like, okay, I'm very like burnt out on this aspect. You know what? I am gonna switch it up, And then who knows, maybe you'll hit a hot spot where there is a lot of work needed and boom, then there you go. You'll be on it for a couple months. But, yeah, I think you bring up a good point about spreading yourself thin because that's something that I feel like I do as well in life is spread myself thin and just want to make sure I take care of all these responsibilities that I have and make sure to not leave any of them out because I'm the type of person that if I commit to something, I want to try my best to not leave it
Yeah.
untouched,
Right.
but that causes that anxiety and kind of makes you feel a little
Yeah.
bit down.
It's so interesting. Like, just by like getting on the topic of my website, it's like elicited that anxious feeling in me. Like, I can feel it. Like, I can feel it like taking over my body as soon as we bring up that topic. Just like how our thoughts can really affect how we feel, like pretty quickly.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
interesting.
And I have something to say about the feeling of anxiousness, and that's that in my speech class last semester, we had to do like I think like 7 total speeches throughout the semester, which like at first when I got into the class, I read that and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to give 7 speeches in front of the class. Like I'm terrified of that. Like, I wasn't terrified, but I was not excited about it. Um,
Yeah.
but then my teacher said something in the second week that really clicked with me and kind of changed my entire demeanor about the class and giving speeches, and honestly, it carried over throughout the rest of my life.
Right.
Relating to anxiety, and that being that anxious feeling that you're feeling like right before you go up to give a speech, like you're feeling and you're like, oh crap, like I feel it in my chest, like my heart's beating, I'm starting to sweat, all these things going on, like I'm gonna forget what I'm want to say and all this. Instead of like taking that as being like, oh, I'm scared of doing this, like I'm scared, I'm
Mm.
anxious, you can say I'm excited, I'm
Oh
excited.
my gosh. I've heard of that, and I used it one time before I went on a date. I was
Mm,
so nervous, and I was just like, "Wow, I have a lot of energy." Like what is anxiety of it? It's really just like a buildup of energy,
yeah.
and that can be interpreted as anxiety or as excitement. I remember before that date, I just was like, "Wow, like I'm so excited! Like I'm so excited!" And then I
Mhm.
go on the date, and I was like very energized and like with the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Versus like if I was anxious, if I was interpreting as anxiety, I'd be like, go on the day, I'm like, ah, hi, ah. Like
yeah,
it's just
yeah, yeah,
different how
yeah.
that then expresses itself.
Yeah, and like having that excited feeling instead of that scared feeling kind of gives you permission to screw up too, because it's like you're excited, like you might say something that not might not make sense, but you're also going to say a lot of
Yeah,
things that do make sense along with it, and
right.
that's just how life is. Sometimes you say stuff and do stuff that you didn't necessarily mean to do or say or didn't want it to come out that way or whatever, but you know what? That nobody's perfect, and
Right.
by being excited about it, it kind of allows for that imperfection to breach out, which is kind of needed in order to feel good.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how that works. I've thought about this before about emotions and how we perceive them, and I think Leo Gura said something about that kind of sparked that in me about how we perceive certain emotions to be a certain way, but it's just kind of because society kind of like just said it's that way. Like that's the way we've been raised to think of it, and but that's not how it has to be. And I think that comparison with anxiety about either being scared or excited about it can kind of go with a lot of things. Like you don't have to feel emotions the way that you think that you have to feel them. You can kind of choose sometimes.
Yeah, that you might feel powerless in the moment, but you actually have the power of perspective. But what like it feels almost like you're cheating yourself in a way. Like if you're feeling anxious and you like start saying to yourself like, "No, I'm excited."
Hmm.
It almost feels like you're lying to yourself. But if you start to like almost pretend that you do believe it, you start to like you do start to actually believe it, and then you are changing your perspective. But it just like takes a level of like seriousness with yourself in the act of in the choice of changing your perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like what you're describing sounds like the fake it till you make it sort of perspective.
Yeah,
And while I do agree with it to some extent, I also believe in just doing it, and I don't think you have to think of yourself as faking it, like you can just
true.
do
That's
it.
just another perspective.
Just do it. Yeah, it is, and I think that's the way that I kind of like to frame it, because I think by saying fake it till you make it kind of feels like you're not it until you're actually it. But if you just
Yeah,
say, I'm just going to do this, then you can probably get to that make it point a lot quicker.
hmm. True. Interesting. I don't know. I
But
feel like
there's a
I
lot of
don't have
ways.
enough experience like doing that actively to know.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. I've journaled about it, but I don't think that I've put into action a lot. But that's kind of what I've gathered from when I journaled about it.
Yeah.
Um, so, which I haven't been doing recently. I haven't been doing a good job. Not a good job. I need to stop saying that. I haven't been journaling recently, nor have I been meditating, but I would like to. I did meditate today. I tend to meditate on days that we have a podcast because it kind of helps me, I feel like, speak clear and just think clear.
Like a
Um,
little bit like slowing down your mental process,
yeah.
keeping it simple.
Yeah, and kind of like piecing things together and putting it out how I want to put it out. Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. So,
I've
interesting.
not been meditating. Like I
I,
said though, I my meditations are like throughout the day as I'm doing
yeah,
things.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Everybody does their own thing in their own ways, And I think by respecting that about ourselves and others is a super beneficial thing. Because why not? Why not do things your own way?
Yeah.
Like why? Like I wouldn't want you to do anything my way if you didn't want to do it, or anybody else for me
True.
to do it their way if I didn't want to do it. So
Yeah.
you just got to let it go and do it your way.
Hmm. What do you do? Just a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you have an intense negative emotion arise? Like, what do you do with it?
I instantly, like, I just did it right there because I was kind of putting myself in that position of what that would feel like. I just take a deep, calm, slow breath. That's the first thing I will do every time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then from there, I assess what I'm feeling. And based on what I'm feeling, I will choose how to react to it.
Hmm.
I'd say that's like, simply put, that's the process that I go through when I feel a deep negative emotion. Um, but
Interesting.
because I feel like you do have to feel it to some extent in order to react to it properly. Um, and I'm not perfect at it by any means, because sometimes I will, not take that second to feel it, and I'll just react first. I'll take the deep breath and then I'll react, instead of taking the breath, assess, then react.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you feel like you do when you feel that?
Well, I think I take the approach offered by Leo Gura. He has a YouTube episode called How to Handle Negative Emotions.
Hmm.
And he says that like you need to be a copper wire.
Mm.
Like I think I talked about this
Yeah.
actually one of the other podcasts about how
Yeah.
like how electricity just like shoots through a copper wire,
Hmm.
but like electricity can't shoot through rubber, right?
Yeah.
And so he's saying like you need to be the copper and the electricity is like the feelings. And so you need to just allow all the emotions to just flow through you, run through you. And I think I take that approach whenever I have a deep negative emotion arise. Like I usually just like sit in it. I think the right word is like bask in the
Yeah.
negative emotion.
Yeah.
and just let it like overtake you, and let it like no resistance, let it overtake you. And I think when I do just let go and like let the emotion take me is when it's like it lasts much less. It's much shorter than if I were to like try to do something to fix it.
Yeah. No,
for some reason.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point because I feel like recently I've actually been doing that. I guess I was more so thinking in an instance of like something happening all of a sudden. But in the long run, I feel like I've been getting better at basking, like you said, and like I said recently, I feel like I've been basking a little bit more and just letting myself feel that that anger or the just off balance, off kilterness, and just letting it hit me, just letting it feel like inside my entire body, and it definitely has helped me come to resolutions with myself and other things going on in my life. So that's a good point that you do have to. It is valuable to bask, but I guess situations that I think of where I wouldn't want to bask are like terrible situations, like if you're like there's a shooting going on or something like that. Like you don't have time to be basking in emotions,
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
And I feel like
that's when I feel like in those situations, compartmentalizing and like suppressing your emotions can be helpful because you need to survive.
Exactly.
And so it's not like that's always a negative thing. It's just it's useful in its own way.
Right. No, I definitely understand.
Compartmentalizing, not the shooting.
Unless necessary. No,
it's less necessary, but has its place in the world. No.
Yeah, no, you're right. I feel like overall your perspective on that and what Leo said is definitely the way to go. But it like I just brought up, it is situational.
True.
But I do think that your way is more beneficial in the long run in terms of getting to the bottom of how you're feeling.
I think your body can take over too. Like if you're in a shooting, you could be depressed. You could be utterly depressed on that day, and you hear gunshots. Your adrenaline is going to shoot you into mania, right?
Yeah.
So I think your body has like pre-built-in mechanisms for like, actually, you know what I was thinking the other day? I was thinking yesterday about how much our mood and our perspective and our existence and like conscious reality is determined by chemicals. Like, So when you have like THC in your brain, you know what it feels like to be high on weed, right?
Yeah.
So that is, you're on like the weed consciousness. That's how it feels to be high on weed. Mm-hmm. And then you take caffeine, and you know how it feels to be on caffeine. On a lot of caffeine, you feel kind of wired. You feel very awake. It's like that affects how you're feeling. That affects your consciousness and your perspective. But think about all of the substances, like not even things that we take or ingest to alter our consciousness, but there's a chemical concoction happening in our brains at all times. And let's say on one day, your brain, for some reason, produces 10% less of like, let's just call it like, let's just pretend there's a chemical called boundless anine or something, like boundless anine. And that affects like your mental clarity or something. And you have 10% less of it, then you feel like you're foggy. Or think about like when you're having a really good day, maybe like that is just like when your brain is producing the right chemicals in the exact right way or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like consciousness is like way more influenced by chemicals. I think it's all I think it's mostly chemicals, bro.
Yeah.
By how much it affects us.
I mean, I think you're right, because that's what we're made out of. And You know, if we weren't made out of that, then would we even be conscious? So yeah, that's definitely something that I think that I not taken into account throughout my life,
Yeah.
is how that kind of stuff does affect you. You know, like I personally, I'm on a detox of a lot of stuff right now. Not okay. Let me retract that. A lot of stuff meaning like no hard drugs or anything like that. More so, THC, caffeine, and alcohol. That's more so what I meant by a lot of stuff. um, and because I feel like I've just been overwhelmed recently by life, and having those elements in there just distract me from the fact that life is happening, and
Yeah.
that I can live without those things, you know, and my body is not at a natural state when on those things. So,
True.
you know, like you were saying, a lot of chemicals are going on. So I feel like recently I felt a little more drowsy and a little more off kilter, I would say, because I'm like on a withdrawal from these substances that, you know, I never abused any of them, I wouldn't say. I mean, although people
Yeah.
Andrew Huberman said that smoking 2 times a week is considered heavy use. So um maybe I was abusing it. But nonetheless, I didn't feel like I was abusing any of them because, like, I mean, I'll drink alcohol maybe not even once a week. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe once every 2 weeks, and not even in large consumptions, really. Um, and then caffeine, you know, maybe like every, I don't know, maybe once or twice a week. And then, like I said, THC once or twice a week,
Yeah.
or plus. So, nonetheless, I never considered how those things would weigh into the outcome of how I feel, you know. And now
Yeah.
I'm kind of like realizing, like, without them, that wow, I'm kind of like drowsy right now because I'm used to just having something maybe in there, you know.
Right. Right. And how much just by like your it's not even that like you're having crazy withdrawals. It's not like your brain has gotten super used to like having THC every day. It's
Yeah,
just gotten used to having THC once a week,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And but your brain is expecting it once a week. And
I
so
was
it's
gonna
not like
say,
you're an addict or anything.
yeah,
It's just like your brain and your body want to maintain a homeostasis. And so it gets into a rhythm of expecting THC hit to the brain once a week so that it can level out its THC levels throughout the week in other ways. You know what I mean? So then,
right,
like, maybe on the fifth day of the week after you smoke, it's like your THC levels drop. Like your natural, because we have natural uh,
cannabinoid.
cannabinoids.
Yeah,
That's the word.
that's a
We
hard one.
naturally have cannabinoids. You know, we have a
Yeah,
whole system for it, and our body
yeah,
produces them. So maybe it's just gotten used to it, so then it drops off at 5 days, and then you feel out of balance on that fifth day or something.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's just something I'm in the process of learning and experiencing. And it, it's just nothing that I really thought about to that degree. You know, like I said, I
Yeah,
never thought of myself as being a chronic user or an everyday user of any of them. But like you said, our brains do have these balances and levels of them, and when you consume them at certain amounts, you expect them at certain amounts. And when you're not getting them at certain amounts, I'm sure there's this imbalance going on that,
yeah,
you know, in my case, my brain is just trying to get used to and trying to get back to that equilibrium that it wants.
right.
So it's interesting. It's really interesting that kind of stuff
Yeah,
goes on.
definitely. Um, Actually, something else that have you ever like on an adrenaline rush tried to be mindful and to be present in the moment?
Yeah,
Like you
dude.
haven't. It's hard.
It I want to say it's hard, but to me it feels easy. I
Really?
and I think I know where it comes from, and this is where I think I get my emotions from too. Is when I'm playing sports my entire life, I've kind of dealt with having adrenaline rush and like constantly, pretty much, and so I kind of learned that if I didn't take into account how I was feeling during that adrenaline rush, then I would go off the circuit and I wouldn't perform well. So I kind of had to maintain it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
that
you
just
don't experience that?
screws up my whole. I was gonna say something about how like adrenaline, maybe you're like how all your consciousness is from chemicals, and then maybe adrenaline affects your consciousness and makes it more difficult to be mindful or something because you need to be focused on this one thing. I don't
I'm
know.
sure for some people it is. Maybe for you it is.
Yeah, that was my theory. That's my hypothesis, but these are just ideas. I haven't
No,
done a
absolutely.
study on it or anything.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I'm not the same as you or anybody else, and it's not like I think adrenaline is like this thing that I want to experience nonstop and I can handle it nonstop, but it is something that I do like and I'm confident with handling. But that varies. Like I said, I think I've gotten that from playing sports my whole life, whereas somebody
Yeah.
who maybe hasn't experienced some kind of adrenaline rush situations throughout their entire life, like they probably wouldn't know how to deal with that as well. I mean, I know you've played
Right.
sports, so to some extent you know how to deal with them,
True.
whereas other people probably don't know how to deal with them as well as you do.
Good point. How do you feel about wrapping up?
Let's wrap it. Calm down.
Wrap it.
Let's wrap it.
Great. Okay.
Send this bad boy off.
Sam, do you have any words or plugs or anything?
No plugs, but I guess final words just being that it's been fun. I hope people enjoyed this and keep enjoying it
Yeah.
and come back. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that's really all I have to say.
All right. Well, stay tuned until next time. Thanks for listening. And if we get 100 listeners, 100 listeners by a podcast, but 100 likes on YouTube, we'll shave our heads.
Yep. That's it.
Just saying, you can control our bodies just by hitting a button. By clicking one little button, I could be just all skin up here, completely shaven. You can do that. You have the power to do that to me.
Yep. Right here, right now.
Now, change my body. Do it. Anyway,
Dare you.
see you next time. Peace.
Peace.